Janet with Try It Like I Create It and Fairy Stamper's design, video design team. And today we're going to be working with a stencil that is called Fairy Florals. And we're going to put this on a darker blue paper. And then we're going to stencil it using Distressed Oxide. Now, off camera, I used a little bit of pixie spray on my stencil just to kind of hold it in place, and it's just lightly tacked into place. And now I'm going to use Distressed Oxides in Faded Jeans, Chipped Sapphire, and Broken China. So just to start off, I'm just going to randomly grab some color here and just apply over the stencil. And then we'll go into the lighter one, which is Broken China, and blend that in. So we're just trying to make a, textural background, if you will, using these different colors of blue on blue. All right, and then Faded Jeans. Is that what I used? Let's see, is that what I've already used? Yeah. All right, so then we're going to go with Chipped Sapphire, which is the darkest of them all. And I'm just going to lightly go over a few areas just to see what that looks like. All right, so let's lift our stencil and see what we've got going on here. So yeah, we have kind of a tie-dye look, and that's exactly what I was going for. So let me clear this out of the way, and then we'll move on to the next step. I have brought my works board out, and here's the piece that we just made, and I have my card here, and I'm just going to double check the size here, and it's 4 1/4. So I am going to trim this piece down to 4 inches, and just picking which side I want to use here. So we're just going to have a real small border running around the outside of the piece, and it looks like my paper was trimmed. It might be just a little crooked. I'm not sure, but we're gonna just straighten it out with the guidelines here. All right, and then I'll save this in my scrap box for another project. And then this is measuring out at 5 1/2, so I'm gonna go to 5 1/4, I believe. Let's take a look here. And line that up on the line again just to make sure we're good to go. And let's take a look at how that sets on the card front. I think that will be really nice. All right, so our next step is we're getting ready to stamp, and we're going to be using the Fantasy Flowers from Fairy Stamper, and I'm just going to pull those out of the package, and then we'll kind of figure out here how we want to use them. So I'm working on the works board again, and I'm going to use my magnets to hold them down. I know I don't want them to travel too high on the front because I'm going to put a sentiment up there. So now we're just going to arrange these on the card front, and I'm going to go for 3 of them. I'm not sure. Let's take a look here and see how they look together. So let's give this one a little bit of a curve, and then we'll bring a small one in. Maybe this one here. All right, so I'm liking that arrangement. I'm going to attach it to my stamping surface like so, and then I'm going to just move my card over a little bit because the sides here are off just a smidge. So I'm just going to move that over, and let's take a look and see how that looks. And I like that better. That's better centered. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to stamp with Versamark, and we're going to emboss this with white. So we're going to ink these up a generous amount. And my Versamark has some sparkle on it, and I'm okay with that. But let's just rub this down nice and hard and lift up and see if we've got everything. This little guy right here isn't stamping as well, so I'm going to give him an extra push. And then let's take a look. All right, it's looking good, but I think I'm going to ink it one more time just to be safe. All right. And the one thing I did not do was powder my surface, so hopefully we're not going to have a disaster here because I forgot. All right, so cover up my Versamark here. Get that out of the way. Let's bring in a piece that we can pour our embossing white onto here and give our fingers a cross that I didn't mess up by not putting powder down. If I did, we'll start over again. But we'll give it a go. See how we did. Okay, it looks like we're going to be able to salvage this. So, with a little bit of a paintbrush here, I think I can remove the excess. I did kind of jobber up this stem here, but I ran my finger into it, but I think overall we're going to be okay. All right. So I'm going to heat gun this, and then I will come back and show you that. Okay, to finish up here, I have decided that what I'm going to do is I'm using this sentiment that I've cut out of Rinea foil paper, and I'm going to add just a little bit of green around the outside of the card. And so I'm going to apply this down with liquid glue so I have a little bit of wiggle room to move it around. And the other thing I wanted to show you is that I sprayed this with some DIY shimmer mist, and I make my own. It looks like this. It's water, hairspray, and then white eyeshadow. And I just gave that a little spritz, and now it has this like shiny shimmer to it. So let's wrap this up and get some glue on the back of the card, the back of the piece anyway. And I want to go really close to that edge. All right, so I am going to glue that down, and then I'm going to trim it with a paper trimmer. I'll just bring my Cricut trimmer in here. Now I can always cut off more, but I can't cut off less, so I'm going to go right there and see how that looks. Okay, that works. And then the same on the bottom. And that looks good. Move this out of the way. Just double check it on our card front before I glue. And that's going to work just fine with a little bit of white. So then we're going to add glue to this. You could use tape runner. Once again, like I said, I'm using wet glue just so I have a little wiggle room. I'm centering things up here. Because my borders are so small, I want to make sure that I've got it lined up well. All right, and then we just need to go onto the backs here of our sentiment and stick that onto our page. And we'll be done. like the subtle colors of this. You know, I haven't done a get well card in quite a while, and I don't know, I think I might have been inspired by myself because I am just getting over a 2-week cold, and I was tested for COVID twice, and I didn't have it, but I lost my voice, and I am still kind of recovering from that, and playing catch up with a lot of my requirements with my site. So there we go. Get well card.